Fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Well. Man, it takes a long time for that dumb thing to get off the screen. Anyway, good morning, folks. It is Monday, June 27th, 2022. Hope you're having a wonderful morning wherever you are. It's Monday. I know you're probably on your way back to work saying, it's Monday. I hate Mondays. I get it. Even though I'm not really going back to work, I get it. Good coffee this morning. I made the coffee, of course. Turns out I picked really good timing to get myself thrown in Twitter jail. I actually got suspended on Twitter about an hour before the Roe v. Wade decision came down from the Supreme Court. And since then, it's been pretty much on fire with just Americans hating Americans, people just not seeing eye to eye. I understand the emotion behind it. I understand why some people feel the way they do on both sides, and I don't want to play both sidesism here. I'm going to tell you, and I haven't really articulated this before, my position on the whole friggin' thing about abortion is, I understand working in pathology and doing many placental and fetal examinations. A baby is a baby pretty early, and so I'm not pro-abortion, but I am definitely pro-choice, and I don't think the law should get involved in telling a woman how to make a very, very personal decision. And what we're seeing is religion being corrupted and used for political purposes to control people. And that's wrong. It's wrong no matter what the religion is, no matter what the faith is. Now, when Obama was president, and even while Trump was president, we were hearing a lot from the right about concerns about Muslims trying to initiate Sharia law into the United States of America. What we are seeing right now is a Christian version of Sharia law. We want, not we, and certainly not I, the phony Christians, the fake Christians, the people who corrupt any semblance of what the faith was supposed to be about, want to impose their will and make law based on religion. This country was founded on freedom of religion to protect us from just that kind of thing. No religion should guide our laws. Separation of church and state, they want to do away with that. Now, those people who are looking to control and make no doubt about this, it's not, they don't give a fuck about protecting life. Most of them, the ones advocating for the laws to be changed for things like that, they don't give a fuck about life. They don't give a fuck about that. It's all about control and power. The ones who are pushing for that, they're not done. They're looking to, again, corrupt the idea of their faith, make it a Christian nation, and impose their will on people. And it's not going to stop with abortion. It clearly is not going to stop with abortion. They're already targeting bedrooming, sexuality issues, sexual orientation, um, contraceptives, rights, rights, and just a better. Listen, contraceptives are an important part of, if you, especially if you want to limit the number of abortions that take place. Contraceptives would be a good place to start. I don't want to get into the whole fucking thing, but it's inevitable that that discussion is gonna come up. But right now, what we are seeing is real ugliness, and I'm thankful to be in Twitter jail and not to have to be tempted to comment back to people that are just so filled with hate. And it's coming from the fascist side of it. You know, we are, listen, if you study history, far right, far left, the farther right, the farther left you get, the center disappears. The the people the people who are not committed to any fucking team are disappearing. And what we're left with is fascists and not necessarily communists, but socialists. And you're going to have to choose one, right? Or lean towards one side or the other because the middle is disappearing. I want to stay in the middle. I really want to stay in the middle. But the middle is disappearing pretty quickly. It's an island that is just sinking into the ocean, and there's going to be no middle. I'm very much a pessimist for the United States of America. I think it's done. I think it didn't have such a great run. It tried for a couple 100 years, and it's going to go down pretty much in flames or just a mess. And kind of thankful I am not going to be around to see the end of it. I say that because thinking it's not going to happen overnight. If it could happen overnight, it could happen, could crumble in a blink of an eye. I don't think that's going to be the case, but you never know. Anyway, yeah, that's good news for a Monday morning. That's happy news. That's why we tune in for some escapism. I was just saying, I'm thankful to be off Twitter. My guest today is going to be John Pavaramo. John is a comedian who's definitely uh, got a lot of politics and a lot to say about what's going on in the world right now. And uh, he's very much on the left, and Kiera, for whatever uh, activism she has, is on the right. I'm not expecting them to get along. And I sent her a text last night saying, you don't have to be on the show tomorrow. I'm not saying don't be on the show, but I'm saying be prepared. You don't know what John's about. Here's what he's about. John is, I like John. He's a very good guy. Very good guy. Big heart for a little man. um, and he's very funny comedian and a very giving guy and a guy who is passionate about what's going on in the world. And I think that's a mistake in today's world. I think you gotta just realize the game's over, man. Game's over. Fascists won, and sooner or later, I mean, there's no way to dig out of this. It's going down in flames. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. You're down by 10 runs. They have the best relief pitcher on the mound, and you got the bottom of your lineup and they're all hurt. You're not going to come out from there's no no Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner miracle going to save you, folks. It's game over. The options are either you stand next to the bar, you run up your credit cards, you bang pretty women until you drop dead, enjoy the ride out, or you fight an uphill battle that is gonna lead you to be angry and just hating other Americans and fighting with each other. And the constant fight will weigh you down. That's not a good way to end your life or end the ride. Just fighting with people. I'm done. I got no more fight in me. Got no more fight in me. I'm resigning. You know what? If I could, not for my wife, I would be in Belize right now or Costa Rica or someplace like that, and I'd be uh, running up my debt on my credit cards to the point of no return. Because the way I see it, if you die owing everybody money, you win. So that's where I would be in this situation. Yeah, it's not a happy place to be. So look forward to talking to John though, because I'm sure there will be a few ridiculous, if not sadly brokenhearted laughs in the hour when John gets here. Um, and so there's that. Also, just reached out to Jeff Dwoskin. Well, he reached out to me, seeing that John was coming back to the show. It's been a while. This is how long it's been since John's been on the show. That he has never met Kiera. John's been on the show a lot. He's one of my go-to guys, but he hasn't been here uh, since Kiera was on the show. So he's never met her. That's how long it's been. But Jeff Dwoskin saw that John was coming back and Jeff said, "Yeah, I'll be back too." And I love Jeff too. Jeff I call my best friend. He likes that I call him my best friend. We've actually never met, but that all started because I referred to him as Scott Curtis's pal, Jeff, at one point. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna have later on in the show. Now, did you have a good weekend? We had a interesting weekend. Um, Friday night, Mikey and I did a duo at a place called Villa Sorrento in a tent on a stage in a tent in a parking lot behind the restaurant. Because ever since COVID, the entertainment has been outdoors, and he still has not brought it back indoors. So we were outdoors, and we played for a pretty small crowd for what we do. I mean, one of the smaller crowds that we've ever played for. Because generally we have a very nice size following, and generally the rooms and place venues we play in have quite a big turnout just on their own. But this night, Friday night, pretty small turnout. It was an enthusiastic and supportive small crowd, but a small crowd nonetheless. And it was getting a little chilly out actually when the sun went down. But it was a fun night playing acoustic outdoors. And then that was in a parking lot beyond a restaurant. And then Saturday night, Kiera and I had a gig at Prime Burger and that's not what it sounds like. Prime Burger in Comac, New York, which I looked it up on the web. It was not something I booked, an agent booked it. And the place looked impressive. It looked like an upscale restaurant from the pictures on the web. And it in fact is. So the name Prime Burger makes you think, oh, it's just a burger joint. It's not. It's a pretty upscale restaurant, but upon arriving there, I found out there's a tent in the parking lot, and we're playing in the parking lot in a tent again 2 nights in a row. Not that I minded that. I like being outdoors. I prefer to be outdoors, especially in summertime. Summertime Saturday night, and so and again, a pretty small but very enthusiastic and supportive crowd. And people were staying long after their dinner was over just to enjoy the music and enjoying the fact that oh, I'm getting attacked by a bug. um, just enjoying the fact that we played so much diversity in music. We call ourselves Little Bits when I play with Kara, and that stands for a little bit of everything. And we play stuff from the 1940s up until stuff that might be on the radio today, a couple of original songs and stuff like that. But late in the night, there was a And every single table at some point put money in our tip jar. Now that's a great thing. That's support. When every single person there comes up and feels obligated to tip you, they stay longer than their dinner. They stay extra long to hear more music, and they put money in the tip jar. Late in the night, a group of some 30 somethings, I want to say, came over and put a nice tip in the tip jar, and it's right in front of us. You see it, and they request Stairway to Heaven. Oh my God. Well, I never played Stairway to Heaven really in a band. I played it when I was 13 or 14 years old in my friend's basement for a couple of weeks and realized, first of all, it's pretty difficult. It seemed like everybody plays that. Nah, nobody plays it right. Nobody plays it right. Not even the great Nicolati plays it right. It's true. Um, I think Jimmy Page probably doesn't play it exactly right anymore either. It's very difficult, especially there's one point in the song where it gets really tricky unless you're really counting the beat correctly, and there's no drums to keep you in line with counting the beat correctly. You can fuck it up pretty easy. Anyway, I never learned it right and never really wanted to. I figured we would never play that in a band and still haven't played it in a band and don't expect to play it in a band. But I feel guilty seeing somebody put a nice big tip in the jar, request something, and then be turning them down. Oh, sorry, I can't play it. And something like Stairway to Heaven, they expect, oh, everybody plays that song. Oh, but nobody plays it right. And I knew I wouldn't play it right. But we hacked our way through it, and it got a really, really great response. They really genuinely enjoyed it. But because I just couldn't let that sit. That man, I fucked that song up. I ruined it. They didn't notice, or if they did notice, they didn't care. Probably more to the point. But yesterday I spent a lot of time making sure I got every single note of that song right in case that ever happens again. I want to be prepared, and found out just how difficult that part of the song is that nobody gets right. Nobody gets right. And when I say nobody, there are guitar teachers, especially online, who will point out that how difficult that part of the song is and teach how to get it right. But most people playing cover bands or things like that butcher the shit out of that part of the song. And you can go online, and if you don't believe me, go to on YouTube and look for Stairway to Heaven covers and watch the part just before the guitar solo and watch bands just struggle at that point to try to get in sync with each other. It's almost universal. Every cover band who does a song struggles at that point to find out how to get locked into the groove again because they're counting it wrong. It's a very, very tricky um, and intricate part of the song that nobody really ever learned right, or very few people ever really learned right. And I'm not even sure it was done in intent with intention. Anyway, Stairway to Heaven. Check it out. The curious thing, and I was laughing at this, is every time people were finally ready to leave, they would walk past Kiara and just point to her and say, "You're very good." I was like, "What? I'm just fucking chop liver over here." She was very good a Saturday night, and I made her sing 90% of the songs, and she was very good, very good. Anyway, so I hope you had a good weekend. And the weather today has turned a little bit dark. It's very humid, but cloudy and not very summer-like. And I can't believe that 4th of July weekend is upon us already. Independence Day weekend. Monday is 4th of July. A week from today is the 4th of July already. Summers fly by way too fucking fast, man. And the older you get, the quicker they fly by. But I just no way to slow it down. I just want to slow it down. Take a breath, enjoy it, smell the roses, as they say. Damn good coffee. I ought to hire me to make coffee for myself every day. Oh, I do it anyway. Um, so yeah, that was the weekend for me. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope it's a beautiful day. You're having a beautiful summer wherever you are, and I hope you can make it last. Enjoy the good times. If you're not a summer person, maybe you don't relate to what I'm saying. I can't believe there are people who are not summer people, but it happens. I think probably some of the people in our chat room today are not summer people. But me, I am definitely a summer person. I love summer. It's my time. Um, and so 4th of July weekend is here, and weather's not looking great for this weekend. I have, 4 gigs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday lined up, but it's looking like Friday night is an indoor thing. Kind of tricky indoor thing. I just found out the guy who booked it sent me a picture of the setup that I'm going to need there. Kind of tricky. I'm not really prepared for it as of today. I have to be by Friday night. But that's an indoor gig in upscale. It's called in part of Long Island called Manhasset. Upscale. Money, 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 money. Uh, And then Saturday, back at the Garden Grill, our favorite North Shore restaurant lounge. And then I think that's it, right? Oh no, Saturday we have a party, an outdoor party at Ebo Hill, mansion at Ebo Hill, which could get rained out. And then Sunday we have a party back up in Oyster Bay, Long Island, which could get rained out. And then Monday, on the 4th of July, it's still looking like a possible rain out. So might want to get one gig out of 4 in, and it'll be a difficult one. So it's not looking great for 4th of July weekend. Certainly hope it's looking better in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. Well, the other parts of the world don't even give a damn about 4th of July, do they? Uh, it's strictly an American thing, and it's going to be interesting. Um, We're so fucking divided in this country that what the fuck does the 4th of July mean to anybody? Independence Day, when every day you see more rights being taken away and just, battling for control. Not down with the religion. Not down with the religion. Not down with it's not a Christian nation. Wasn't born to be a Christian nation. I don't have anything against real Christians, but very few of those fucking people throwing Christianity in your face are real Christians in any way. It's like they never paid attention to what the real message was. Like Christ is full of hate, and Christ is full of hate and anger and Easter bunnies and all that stuff. And with that said, can I even do this? I gotta do this right now, right? Where the hell is it? Maybe I could do it in this way. Hold on one second. I am slow with this, I admit. I need to get an assistant to help me out with this crap. Um, desktop, baby. Here we go. I got a T-shirt for you. It's available at minddogtv.com. I'll put the link in the description. Um, T-shirt called it's it says "You're not a real Christian. You're not a Christian." And what we have there is the Easter Bunny holding an AR-15. Very symbolic of what the modern American bullshit Christian movement is all about. Easter bunnies, like Easter is Christianity's most sacred holiday, and they make a mockery of it by making it about a fucking bunny. And then he's holding an AR-15 because they're all about guns, guns and Jesus and babies. That's what they're all about. So the T-shirt comes in black and white in any size. It's $30. It's on minddogtv.com, minddogtv.com/you're not a Christian. I'll put the link in the description. And it comes in black and white, any size from small to 3X. and that's available today. Hope you check that out and support the show. It keeps the show on the air. Um, we are on. What happened to my Govs logo? Oh man, I lost my Govs logo. There it is. No, that's not it. That was the book from the other day. There you go. A little slow, a little sloppy. You're waiting Kiara to come in any minute. I think it's a good time to play today's sponsors piece while we wait Kiara coming in. And I'm expecting some fireworks today. I have to admit, expecting a little bit of fireworks. Um, True Fire is our sponsor today. Want to learn to play guitar? You want to learn how to play Stairway to Heaven correctly? Well, you should go to truefire.com and use the link that's in the description today. True Fire is the best way to learn guitar online. Here it is.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, you'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Sign up free for an all-access trial today.
Yeah, sign up free. The link is in the description to get the plan. Now, you saw Frank Vignola's name listed there. Frank is the guitar player on Jackie the Joke Man's work. One of the greatest guitar players in the world, along with Tommy Emmanuel, was also listed in there. There's a bunch of great teachers. Steve Vai, of course. If you're interested in learning shredding, there's no better place to learn that technique than Steve Vai. So many great teachers there at True Fire. I would check them out. Did you hear about Rudy Giuliani's assassination attempt? Oh my God. This is how pathetic Rudy Giuliani has become. Remember, if you remember back far enough in the 90s, Rudy Giuliani was fairly respected in New York because the idea was that good morning, Kat, good morning, Craig, good morning, Kelly, good morning, Budsy, good morning, Ralph, good morning, Dean. I think I got everybody in the chat room covered there. Rudy Giuliani was fairly well respected in New York because of the myth that he brought down the mob. He didn't bring down the mob. He was instrumental in replacing the Italian mafia. He's an Italian guy, oddly enough, with the Russian mob, the Brighton Beach mob. He basically helped. He was instrumental in giving the Russian mob free reign because he was so busy trying to lock up the Italian mob, Gotti and so forth, and all those people. But he was pretty well respected. Now he's just become a fucking laughing stock. And yesterday in a ShopRite in Staten Island, New York, he was campaigning for his dopey son who's running for governor. Man, I would be ashamed. I would be ashamed of of Andrew Giuliani if he were my son. I would disown him. I would move. I would move to another country. That's how embarrassed I would be to have him for a son. But Rudy was campaigning for him, and a ShopRite worker uh, walked past Rudy and tapped him on the back with an open hand and said, "Hey, what's up, scumbag?" and kept walking. Rudy had the guy arrested and charged with assault involving a person over the age of 65 years old. The guy's probably going to go to jail for tapping him on the back and saying, "Hey, what's up, scumbag?" But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it, well, for that guy, that would be pretty much the worst of it. He's going to fucking jail for something that stupid. Probably, listen, you're in prison. When they say, "What are you in for?" You don't want to say, "Well, I tapped the guy in the back and call him a scumbag." Yeah, if you're gonna go in there, you're gonna. I'm a mass murderer. That's what I'm in here for. Anyway, uh, the Republican Party is positioning that as an assassination attempt. They actually called it flat out an assassination attempt. Now, there's video of it. I can show you the video. It's clear the guy open-handedly tapped him. First, they called it a slap on the back. Not even a slap. It's just a mild touch. And he said, "Hey, what's up, scumbag?" and kept walking. If that's an assassination attempt, I've been the victim of an assassination attempt many times in my life. Not that people call me a scumbag that often, but a tap on the back, keep walking. Damn, now I'm gonna have difficulty finding this. It's in trending, right? Uh, if I just put in Rudy, it'll come up. Hold on a second. I want to show you the videos, just so you know I'm not crazy. Here it is. Uh, I'm gonna share it so you can know this is legit. It was just fucking tapped on the back. This is not an assassination tape. So when you hear it, when you hear people on Fox News telling you this was a assassination attempt, here you go. That's it right there. That was the assassination attempt that they're talking about. He said he tapped him on. We'll watch it one more time. I'll play it one more time. The big assassination attempt. Assassination attempt. Here it comes. One more time. Watch it because you could miss this assassin. Do you see that assassination attempt? Wow. Amazing. Poor Rudy. He must be freaking out about that. He must have shit his pants again. Anyway. So that's how ridiculous things are getting. Where somebody just taps you on the back and keeps walking, and they're trying to call that an assassination attempt. Fucking bizarre, people. It doesn't get any. And maybe he didn't realize there are security cameras in grocery stores, and all this stuff has got to be on tape. And of course, it was, and I just showed you. But they're still running with that even after they found out that there's videotape all over the web of it, and everybody's showing it, how ridiculous it looks to say you were attacked, but not just attacked, a victim of an assassination attempt. What you just saw there, according to Rudy Giuliani, is an attempt to assassinate him. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, Kiara's here this morning. I'm expecting fireworks when John on the show. I make that pretty clear. I made it clear to everybody so far except John. He's probably going to be a little blindsided by that. But let me welcome in Kiara and say good morning to her right now. Side. Yep, she's on the wrong side. Who's on the wrong side? What?
Good morning.
On the wrong side. Good morning. You always come
I'm
in
always on the wrong side.
I know. Well, good morning. Are you happy today? It's Monday. It's kind of gray out. It's kind of yucky.
Yes,
How'd you
I am happy it's Monday. The weather could be a little better, but we need
A
rain
little better?
sometimes.
Well, here's the thing. We have a bunch of gigs this weekend. I'm not sure
Oh,
if
this
you're.
is the weekend.
It's only Monday. I know. I'm already thinking about weekends. All I think about is weekends. Well, somebody just sent me a text message. Who was it? Who was it? Oh no.
The mail guy,
No, you know who
the
it is?
postman. Okay.
It's a dispensary in Ohio that wants me to come there and buy pot.
Okay. That's a good
I
text.
don't have a card to go buy in Ohio, and it would be a little expensive with gas prices and tolls and everything. The sale that they're having on pot probably would not be worth it for me to spend $500 in gas and tolls to get $20 off of a very small amount of marijuana. Wouldn't make
Mm.
it be worth it. But they send me this every once in a while. So here's the thing: we have this weekend coming up. I don't know if you're on the Ori gig, because I
The
think
what?
Ori is a guy I used to work for who contacted Mikey. He has an awards banquet or something that he's doing a party for, and he asked specifically for 5 people, and one of them, he wanted Steve on drum. The guy picked out who he wanted in the band, and he was a fan of the band before you were around. So I don't think he included you on that list of people he wanted to put. And it's not
You
even a
jerk.
really, yeah, it's not even a playing gig. We're going to be sitting listening to an award ceremony, where people get up and give speeches. I think you play for 20 minutes. They give 2 hours of speeches. Then you play for another 20 minutes and it's done, one of those. But it's an outdoor thing. It's going to get rained out anyway. But I think Saturday, Richie's party, your Ebo Hill, that's probably going to get rained out. And so we
Yeah, it
have,
usually does. It usually
yeah,
does.
yeah. And we have Friday night at that place, Publicans in Manhasset. And uh,
Public
the,
Kids in Manhasset, the two of us?
yeah.
Okay.
And the agent who booked it sent me a text in the middle of the night last night. They have their own house system, but you need to be able to plug into this. And he's got a picture of the setup
Okay.
there. And
Send that to me.
I don't have the right mixer for that situation there. So I have to figure out how we're gonna do that. And I'm not. It's like already Monday
Can we
morning. I'm
just
already
like
stressing out about the weekend.
call them and say, can we bring our own system? Would they mind?
I think they
Uh,
want bring my own system, but then plug my own system into their system, so it goes into that, so
oh
that
my
everybody at their
gosh.
table has their own little personal speaker or whatever.
What?
I
That's
know.
so much pressure.
I know.
Oh, whatever. We can make it work.
Yeah,
We
but
can work
I'm
it
stressing
out.
on it. It's Monday morning, and I'm stressing about Friday night already.
So when's
It's
that award ceremony? Thursday or
No, it's
Sunday?
Sunday or Monday or something. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
I'm not looking forward to it. First of all, I shouldn't probably say this on the air. I'm
go
not
ahead.
looking forward to it. I used to work for the guy, and I'm not looking forward to going. I was a marketing director for his company, and I'm not looking forward to going and seeing him or his bookkeeper or any of the people who used to
Uh,
work. For me, it's going to be a stressful thing no matter what. I don't want to play the gig anyway.
maybe I'll just fill in. I'll just be you. I'll just
You do that.
play.
Could you do that?
You know,
I would appreciate that so much.
just
Anyway,
like that.
you were great on Saturday night. I was telling people that
Uh,
you were very, very, very good. And
thank you.
everybody leaving pointed that out. That when they walked out there, you were great. Not get ready to chop liver.
No, no.
That's
They
what,
said we were both great, and I thought
no.
you
They
were
said
very.
you were great. They,
No, they didn't.
they
And
did.
you were
They kind of
very
even whispered
impressive.
it to you, thinking I wasn't going to hear. You were great.
No.
Not
Oh
him.
my gosh, I keep hitting my phone. And you were and the guitar was very impressive. And when we played Stairway to Heaven, I was very impressed.
I learned it correctly last night. Yesterday I spent like several hours learning Stairway to Heaven all the way through the exact right way, and nobody plays it right. Nobody.
Yeah,
I wasn't the
of
only one who
course.
never played it right.
I didn't notice that you played it incorrectly. I didn't, and neither did anybody else. In fact, I don't even know if they were listening to us, but I thought it sounded great.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah.
Anyway, I learned how to play it right. So if it ever happens again, now I could play it right. Not that I think we'll ever play it with the band. Well, I don't think
I
we'll.
think we should play it every time we have a duo. I
Okay.
think we'll just whip it out.
I'm okay with that now because I know it now. I feel much more comfortable now, even though I'll probably forget everything else. No, there were a couple of songs that I was like having brain farts for. It's like because if I don't play a song on a regular basis and just put it in my back pocket and then come back to it later, I tend to screw it up a lot. So
It happens.
anyway, yeah. So I picked a really good week to get myself thrown in Twitter jail because it's on fire with all the political bullshit and all the hate that's going on. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's a good thing I'm not there. It's actually might be weaning me off of getting involved in that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's why I deleted my Facebook. I couldn't deal with it anymore. You know,
mhm.
it's just too much. Left,
You
right, up, down.
up
Uh,
down. I'm not sure what the where the up down comes in.
Up and down, up and down.
Uh,
Highs and lows.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's like you're constantly comparing yourself as well. I mean, I know I am as a mother. There were other mothers on there like, today we're going to bake cookies, and tomorrow we're going to the aquarium. And then the next day we're going to read stories. And then you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I suck as a mother, you know? It
yeah.
just it's hard. It's like you're just and that mother, it's not always perfect, but she could pose for the camera and get her kids in the pictures and
Nobody's a perfect parent, but
of
I'm
course.
I'm hypersensitive to that because
Yeah.
I feel like I was a failure as a parent, totally failure as a parent, obviously. And I don't want to get into that. That's a real bummer for people. um,
No.
but speaking of comparing, um, Carl and Jamie are doing their show tomorrow,
Okay.
and Kat is going to be on their show, but she's not going to be on my show.
Oh.
Now that's upsetting to me. She's going to be doing cocktails for them because she's also like a mixologist.
Ah.
She does like custom cocktails and stuff. But
Ooh.
and what I'm asking her to do is come and sing. So they're very different things. But this is the second time she's going on their show and still hasn't done mine. I'm a little hurt, and I know
So
she's in the chat room. She can hear me. She probably
so wait,
uh,
so she makes the cocktails and then she drinks them.
huh? She ma-
She
she
makes
you makes a cocktail and she drinks them. But I think tomorrow, what's going to happen is Carl in wherever he is, Bolivia or whatever the hell he is now,
Hmm.
and Jamie are going to try to reproduce what she does for themselves at their locations, and they're all
Ooh,
going to
that's
have.
exciting.
Oh,
Ooh,
you
I
you
want to
you
take a
think that's
lesson.
exciting? You want to try?
Yeah.
I think it's at 1 p.m. our time tomorrow.
Okay.
Of Dykes and Man on the Mind Dog TV podcast network. Um, Kelly's always Kelly is always trying to defend Kat like she's her sister or something.
Uh,
Very different times as well. Just
yeah.
saying blah blah blah. She's always trying
Yeah.
to
Because I
stick
mean,
up.
it's in the morning and your voice is
Kat
all
says, yeah, Kat says she
scratchy.
now I feel bad, kinda with the kinda after it. No, you should feel very bad. You should be crying right now and overcome with guilt and remorse.
No. No.
Singing and playing is more stressful than drinking. Well, obviously,
Yeah.
I know that.
Maybe
I know
maybe
that well.
if she had a cocktail and then came on the show, that'd probably be the best
Yeah,
way. I'm
Cat.
thinking.
Craig saying Cat create a hummingbird cocktail. Something going on with hummingbird. See, now I'm off Twitter. They got some things going on there that I don't really know about. She's a sleepy girl.
I'm sleepy too.
My sister for sure. Look, they're just talking.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know where this came from. Oh, because of my dream. How do you ever get a vibe that a house is not right? Like there's something about the house.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I wonder
Why?
if we could get someone to like go into this house that I might move into and just
Oh.
feel around. I don't want
Oh.
to commit myself to this house if there's something wrong with the house.
Now, have you been inside it, or did you just see it from the
Yes.
outside?
I've been inside it, and I know the owners pretty well. They're great people, and they've been in there for 20 years. But maybe the owners before them, there's just maybe so. I mean, the basement looks like it was designed to trap people in it.
Well, listen, you're talking to a guy who's had bodies discovered in his yard. So yeah, I get a bad vibe from houses all
Did
the
you
time.
ever feel like there was like anything in your house, or the skeletons were just there? They weren't killed
No,
there.
there's been several things. First of all,
Okay.
when I lived in Lindenhurst, 67 Orchard Street, Lindenhurst, New York. What was a 957-3656? I used to give that out all the time on my radio show, like I was
Right.
inviting stalkers to come and get me. Uh, but that house, I was sure was haunted, and we even had a name for the spirit or whatever that was there, Isabel.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, it was just creepy as hell. We knew that Isabel had died in that house.
Oh.
Um, but like doors would, things would happen, manifest, like physically move in front of you, like really creepy stuff. And right, I think I told this story because I told it with psychics, definitely on the evening show. When my aunt died, my aunt was murdered in part of a serial killer thing in
Oh my
Los Angeles,
gosh.
and it was right around my birthday, and I was devastated by it. I remember I was almost 30, I think 29 when it happened, and right at my birthday, and I was really struggling with the whole thing. She was my godmother, my closest relative.
How did it happen? I
She
don't.
was she was kidnapped at an ATM, held for 3 days, and they were they were getting money out of her and all that kind of stuff. She was fighting. She was a fighter, and
Oh my gosh.
this was a thing that they did. It was like this group of crackheads that were just abducting women from ATMs. Noon, she was out on her lunch break. Noon, middle of the day, abducted at an ATM in a busy parking lot.
Oh my
Anyway, they
gosh.
held her for a couple of days and then basically shot her on the freeway, shot her in the head, and left her on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty brutal. Uh, but I was really
Jeez.
struggling with trying to figure out what the fuck was going on in the world. And I had this book on telekinesis. Telekinesis is the ability to move stuff with your mind.
Right.
And just trying to keep my mind occupied, not because I was the only one who could not make it out to the funeral because I could not. They would not let me off from work. I was working for A&M Records at the time, and they would not let me off from work.
What?
Right. My
What?
godmother just got murdered. Can I go out to California to go? No, we need you here because we have no other mastering engineers. And if you go, you don't come. You come back, your job won't be here.
Oh my gosh.
So I was struggling with this, and I was reading this book just trying to keep my mind off it. And I thought, let me try something. And there was glass in my kitchen on the counter. And I read the book about how you're supposed to do this, and I concentrated on moving that glass for like an hour, or just staring at it, just trying to manifest movement on it. And
Right.
I said, "This is fucking stupid." And I closed the book, and I went into the living room. I sat down in the chair, and I heard, it was
Oh.
the glass jumped off. No open windows, no wind, nothing. The glass jumped off the counter and smashed itself on the floor.
Ooh. Ooh.
And say I was like, yeah, there's some evil spirits in this fucking house, man. Something weird. Yeah, kind of kooky, but that's one thing I will never forget. I don't know why I associate it, and I always tell the story bringing up my aunt's situation and the fact that it was my birthday because those are significant moments in your life when your
Yeah.
godmother gets murdered right around your birthday.
Oh
It's
my
that's what
gosh.
sticks with you. But yeah,
Wait, when's your birthday? Not to change the
August
subject.
30th. August
Okay.
30th.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. That is insane. Did they
Yeah,
catch
well,
the guys? Did they? Not
oh
that it
yeah,
matters, but they
all
caught
four
them.
of them, and the
Oh
woman was
god.
pregnant. I think I told you the story. The woman got the
I think
death
so.
penalty, and the woman, one of the there were two guys and two women. One of the women was pregnant at the time, and she had to deliver the child in jail, but I think she was still sentenced to death. Now,
Wow.
in California, they did away with the death penalty shortly afterwards, and none of them ever actually were executed. But because you can do that. It takes forever to execute anyway, even when it's legal.
Wow.
So they outlasted the law, and I was against the death penalty and still am. I don't think the death penalty is a deterrent, and I don't think we are ever, as a state, we can ever go down that path of killing people. Because what if you get it wrong? I mean, nine times out of 10, let's say it's right, but what happens when you get an innocent person and you're going to kill them?
Well,
As a
yeah.
state, that's a
Yeah.
terrible precedent to set for humanity.
There's
So
got to be something worse than death. You know,
you would think, you would hope.
I could think
I
of a
mean,
few
for
things.
situations like that where people were, now these people, we wanted, the word evil comes up, but
Mm.
if you've ever seen good people become victims of addiction and do some
Right.
really, really ugly, dirty things because of addiction,
Right.
you tend to kind of have some forgiveness for that. You have to understand that it could be
But
you if
not
you
murder,
you
not
don't know.
killing someone. I
You don't,
know.
you say that now, but and Gaia was quick to bring up the point in my life where um I was always so desperate I was considering killing somebody. I mean, so you don't know.
For what? For drugs?
Actually, for no, what I was because I was sleeping on the roadside for 5 days in a row, hitchhiking in California. Nobody was picking us up, and I couldn't walk anymore. I was hungry. I was stinking. I was desperate, and I said,
Yeah.
"The next car that comes along, I'm just going to throw this lawnmower blade at him and knock him off and kill him and take their car." Unfortunately, he picked us up, and I didn't have to do that. But I was that desperate. Yeah. I mean, it sounds insane
Oh,
now, and
that's
I
where you got the lawnmower blade from.
yeah.
Yeah, well, hunger will drive you to insanity slowly.
It was a
Yeah.
hunger, non-sleep, no sleep for 5 days,
Right.
stinking like a wild animal.
Right.
No
Well, you
shit.
always stink like an animal, so it's okay.
But and no, my feet were all blistered and still having to walk on all blistery.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just
You didn't have the right support. You didn't have
it was hell. Because
Skechers.
no, who expects to walk from San Francisco to L.A.?
Right. Yeah.
I I thought they'd
How
pick
many
up
how many
hitchhikers.
miles from San Francisco to LA, Matt?
250.
250. You walked 250 miles?
Not all. We got picked up. The guy who I was going to kill with the lawnmower blade. I don't know how far he drove us, but it
How
couldn't have
did
been
you
more.
get stranded in California?
Back in the day, they used to have this thing where drive our car across the country. If they were somebody moving from New York, from Long Island to San Francisco, they'd say they're going to take a flight and they're going to have
Mm.
all their furniture shipped, but I'm not paying to have my car shipped. You
Right.
want a free ride? All you have to do is pay gas. Drive my car there. And I said, well, that's a good deal. I'll just drive to San Jose is where I was driving the car to, and then hitchhike back to LA, but didn't work out.
What? That was a weird plan. You just
Yeah.
thought someone was, well, I guess hitchhiking back then was a little more common. I have not seen one hitchhiker
Oh yeah.
in
No, there
my
was totally common
many
back in the
years.
70s. It was
Oh,
it was completely common back then.
no. I've never seen one person with their thumb out. And I would never pick up anybody with their thumb out anyway.
I think
So
I mentioned this last week. It was we because it worked both ways. Girls would do it
Mm.
as a way to meet guys. They would go and guys would do it as a way to meet girls. Like and all the
we
time
just
we used
watched we just watched Up in Smoke when they picked up the two chicks and
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you watched Up in Smoke, did you?
I did. I
And
did.
do we
I've
have a
watched it
review?
before.
Oh, you
Um
have.
yeah, I mean it was good. It was funny.
Whose
But I
idea
was
was it to
thinking
watch it, Matt?
mine. But I was
Really?
yeah, but I was thinking that we could sing that song. All my cares go up in smoke.
I told Tommy that story in my
What
dorm room.
story?
In my
Oh.
dorm room, I was sitting in this hallway and I was singing "Up in Smoke."
Mm.
That's where my money goes in my lung and sometimes up my
My
nose. And
nose.
as I was singing, all the kids. I was in the freshman dorm, and all the kids came out of their room and was singing it in the hallway. We had the entire
Oh,
freshman wing of Eddie Hall singing "Up in Smoke" together.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good song. It's
sing
catchy.
along. Nobody would
Yeah.
know it these days. I guarantee if we
I
played that on a gig, people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
That's okay. Who's gonna sing the Spanish part? Me? I'll be Cheech, you'll be Chong.
Yeah, that's the only way it could possibly work.
All right, I'll do it.
Cat knows it. Hey man, how's my driving? I think we're parked, man.
Yeah. No, my favorite
Mellow.
is
Oh, that was the other thing when he was on with me and Jamie and Carl. He when he didn't even
who?
realize it. Tommy Chong.
Oh, Tommy. Okay,
When
okay.
he was telling us a story and he started talking. You gotta get mellow. What
Yeah.
happens with CBD when you smoke CBD is you get mellow. It kind of mellows you out. And I started laughing. I said, "You're doing that thing you did with Cheech in the movie, like mellow, mellow, mellow." And then whoa,
Wait a minute. You interviewed Tommy Chong?
3 times, 4 times, 6 times,
What?
5 times.
Where was
Yeah,
I?
he doesn't do the morning show. It's too early for him. It's 7 o'clock in the morning for him right now.
Oh my gosh,
He's
I didn't know that.
I do them
Oh,
afternoons and evenings. I could get him on the evening show anytime I want. I mean, basically, I can call him today and have him tonight for the evening show.
what is he
Uh,
doing?
he does lots of podcasts now. I think I was the first one
Oh.
to actually get him addicted to this, and then all of a sudden he's doing everybody's podcast. I
I
actually,
feel like I feel like yes, you've started something in me. I want to make I don't know if I want to make my own podcast, but I definitely want to like post videos because everybody just posts videos of them talking, right? Like in cars, you
yeah,
know. I'm like, why can't I do that?
talking in
I can do that.
cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I hooked a lot of people up with his contacts so that they could get him on their show. But now he's become like a podcast whore. He's just like he's
Ah,
on
that
everybody's
dirty,
show.
dirty slut.
I know.
He's done a lot of kids movies too. I mean, like we watched Zootopia, and he was like the yoga guy, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah.
See, I don't
He's
know that
done
about.
some movies. Yeah.
Well, we talk about music a lot because he was in the 50s.
Mm.
In the 50s, late 50s, he was a guitar player in a band and a rhythm and blues band. And he's still an active guitar player. And obviously, in all the movies, there was some musical aspect to it. And
Mm.
Cheech was kind of a musician in some way too. So they
What did
always
he
had that.
do? What did
He
he play?
sang, he sang,
He
but he
sang.
wrote songs too.
Yeah.
Basically, I think he plays a little acoustic guitar, but not like
Does he dance in a tutu all the time?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
With the nipple tassels. That's funny.
Kelly says, "See, stars don't do morning." Well, John Pavaramo is a star, and he's going to be doing the morning.
We've
Uh,
interviewed him before. I remember him. I'm sorry.
no, you don't. You never met John.
Look, Kelly. I'm too tired to look. I guess I'm a star. Oh man.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're basically dissing both of us then.
Stop.
You know that, Kelly? Thank you very much. By saying stars don't do mornings.
I don't do mornings. No, I've seen John before.
No.
Yes.
When?
Yes, he was eating turkey bacon. Yes. I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah, he was having turkey bacon.
Yes, we talked to him before. I looked him up and I researched who he was, where he lived, what he does for a living. I was like, who is this guy?
You can't tell from his pictures, but he's a little guy.
He's how little? Like 5'4"?
I'm gonna have to ask him because every picture I see, he's always next to other people, and he's
They
like
might
half.
be like 6'8".
Yeah,
You know?
that could be. Kel is my ride or die. She's my hype woman and my club security.
That's right. You need a ride or die by your side. A chick that's gonna fight for you. I have one of those. I don't know. Well, one time I was getting picked on on the soccer team on the bus. They were all like making fun of me. I was picked on in high school, and I went and I told my friend, my ride or die, and I said, they're messing with me. Come back me up. And we got there, and I was in my bully's face, and my friend, my ride or die, is behind me going, "Can't we all just get along? Does this have to be? Come on, we can all be friends." And I turned around and I said, you're supposed to be backing me up.
Can't we all just get a long neck?
Oh, wow.
That's a song from Hank Williams Jr. Can't we all just get a
Is my neck,
long neck bottle?
my
No,
neck.
long neck beer. It's the beers with the long necks on it.
She
That's
wasn't saying long neck beer, okay? She wanted like everyone to sing Kumbaya, and I was like, no, that's not what happens. You're supposed to have my back. I have your back. You have my back. Let's go in there. Let's tell this lady to stop, or girl at the time. So I don't know if she would really fight for me. I don't know if she really would. If it came to blows, I think she'd run away.
came to blows.
Yeah. Yeah. So I need a new ride or die. Maybe I'll put an ad in Craigslist. Looking for woman, friend who will have my back.
I don't think there's such a thing.
I'll just call her up. I'll call the girls.
I think women. I'm gonna get myself. My brother
Go ahead,
said.
say it. Go ahead.
I think women are very catty and backstabbing of each
I
other.
think so.
In
Yeah,
general,
it's true. It's true. I've had some lifelong friends.
I think
And
if Kelly had if Kat turns her back for a second and Kelly's not aware, and she's not aware of it, Kelly will pull out a knife and stab her in the back
careful
end it.
now. Careful now. No, I'm very loyal to my friends. I am, but I've been betrayed. And it hurts by girls.
You see, the thing about betrayal is it never comes from an enemy.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
It's
So
very painful.
did you bring us anything happy
Oh,
today?
happy
Or no?
news. Okay. Let's see here. I forgot what article I picked because I was half asleep.
Kelly says I'm right. She has very few women friends, except for Kat, right? You would stand by Kat forever, right? Yeah, wink, wink.
I will stand
Oh,
by you forever.
I used to do
Oh,
that
thank you.
song, but it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
I will
Well,
kiss away the pain.
you want to know the story behind that?
Did you get into it? I will
I
stand
did. What
by you.
happened? And now this is I'm gonna be forever like humiliated if I tell this story. But
Go ahead.
my wife and I went for a walk our first night together. We went for a walk on the beach. She could not
Oh
look me in
gosh.
the eye. She could not look me in the eye. It was like she
Why?
was that shy. She just couldn't. She couldn't look me in the eye. She was shy.
Oh.
So we went for a walk on the beach. Came back to the house. This house. She was living in this house when I met her, and
Oh.
she was about to lose the
Coffee's bad.
house. About to lose the house. But
Oh.
so we went to the beach and came back to this house, and we were sitting around, and I noticed my stepdaughter's guitar was sitting there. I said, "Do you mind if?" Because she was making something in the kitchen. I said, "Do you mind if I just pick that up?" And I picked it up and I started to sing "Hero," and she
Hero.
said, "Yeah,
Okay.
Hero."
Okay. Yeah.
I could be your hero, baby. Uh, and she started to cry. She said, "I prayed for a hero."
Who said that? The
My
daughter?
wife. My
Your
wife.
wife.
She said, "I prayed for a hero, and you came into my life, and the first thing you do is pick up a guitar and
Aww.
start singing 'Hero' to me."
Aw. That's pretty cute. That's
Yeah,
cute. That's not humiliating. I could
it
just
is for
it's
me.
pretty. Did you sing the whole song?
I did the whole song, and as you say, getting into it, I did it.
That's
Uh,
so cute.
yeah. The ladies I've met, though, through Stanhope, are a different breed, though. A superior class of broads.
Broads. Ah.
Yeah, she's a dude like me, bro.
Yeah, you need dude friends that are women. You know, I had a dude friend. We're
With termites,
termites.
we help our own.
Good. You need a pack of broads like that. The
Jamie
dog is a
Dykes.
romantic. Yes. That
No,
is so cute.
I'm
I
not
thought
really. I
I
think that was
thought
what she
when
thought.
but you are. Come on, you are. You said 6 days after you met her, you proposed?
I did.
That's romantic. That's cute. It's cute. Every woman wants that. Well, not anymore. But there are
Wants a
some women
hero?
that still want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I found out the hard way? No one's coming to save you. You gotta save your own ass. And then, it's fun.
Well,
Woo!
in her case, it worked out because if I had not shown up when I did, she was going to lose the house. She would have moved to North Carolina. Her daughter would have been raised in North Carolina or whatever Uh, those were in the plans. So I
I'm looking
can't.
to move to North Carolina.
Yeah.
South
Well.
Carolina. South Carolina.
Yeah, but it would have been a whole different thing. Her daughter would not have and ended up getting married when she did, or having a grandson when she did. The whole
Right.
life would be different. The
She'd
whole
have a
life,
twang, a southern twang.
maybe.
She'd have an easier way of living. Everything would not be nice and slow and relaxed. You wouldn't have these Long Island drivers like, beep beep, get
Yeah.
out my
What about
way.
I think that was an exaggeration. Robert on Friday said houses in Pittsburgh selling for $50,000. That's got to be an exaggeration. $50,000. You can't even buy like a dog house for $50,000
You
here.
can't even buy gas for less than $50,000 here. Oh my gosh, I went grocery shopping. I bought like eggs, bread, and milk, and it was like $532.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I used to go to when I'd go out for milk or bread or whatever, I'd bring a 20. Now I have to bring 100 and the whole thing goes.
Yep,
I went out just for stuff yesterday, just running out to the store for bread and milk and stuff,
yep,
and I spent $98. I was like, "Holy and it's every time
yep,
I go to the store now. Used to bring a 20 was the thing you just grab to go make a quick stop at the store. Now
yep,
it's whatever it is, $100 bill.
yep.
Anyway, I'm a pessimist, right? But how big of a pessimist
Hmm.
am I? Here's how big a pessimist I am.
How big are you?
John Pavaramo hosts a show,
Dystopia
a
tonight.
weekly, sometimes a 5 times a day show, but
Right.
often at least like 2 times a day or at least 1 time a day show called Dystopia Tonight.
Hmm.
Dystopia, meaning it's all about Orwell's worst nightmare coming
Right.
true. I'm more of a pessimist than he is. He still holds out hope
But
in
isn't he
some
mocking?
ridiculous way.
But isn't he mocking that some people call this dystopia?
No,
He's
I
not. He
think
doesn't.
he's just pointing out that we are living in a dystopia. Anyway,
I mean,
let's
I feel
ask
that
him and
way.
we'll find out.
Oh, he's
But I
here.
think he's here now. I just want to say this that we need to get clear on this. But I think he's got a problem, and I think his problem is hope. I think he's clinging to this. If I were his age, I would want hope too. I would want some hope. But being
Hey,
my
don't talk
age,
about his girlfriend like that.
oh yeah, duh. Leave the comedy to him, all right? That's what hello, hopeful.
How you guys doing?
Good
I'm
morning.
flattered that you think I have a girlfriend looking like this. Looking the way if I did, I don't think I would be allowed to look the way I do. Looked like I was somewhat homeless. Like I look like a police sketch of somebody they're still looking for in the 70s.
I saw you
Mm.
too. I saw pictures of you 2 weeks ago in a suit. You look dapper, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you. Yeah, I was in a suit. I don't remember what I was doing, but I
You were
was in a
doing some
suit.
kind of red carpet thing or some interviews or some
Oh yeah.
emceeing type deal.
Yeah, they let me into a consulate. That was weird. They shouldn't have done
they, they
that.
shouldn't have done that.
No.
But I do think you have a problem in that you're holding on to a glimmer of hope.
I think I don't know you know what it is. I think I'm more hopeful on like an individual basis than I am as a because you're kind of both right. Like I am kind of mocking the severity of the dystopia that everybody because we live in that kind of sensationalist culture where that word gets tossed around a lot. Like
Right.
that's the thing I love about the whole dystopia thing is like you can if you Google it, you can find every newscaster, every news reporter, everybody kind of using it in their language that it kind
Right.
of loses somewhat
Yeah.
of a meaning. But I do think we're living in some kind of seventh circle of hell. Like there's no question about that. But I like to emphasize the fact that we are living in it. Like I don't like to despair only because
Hmm.
I don't have hope, but we are all fucking barreling towards the grave.
Right.
So I mean, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like shit makes me. I think people think I'm angrier than I am online. Like
Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah,
then I actually like because I think I have something to say and I say it, but I'm also
Right.
one of those people who like as soon as I say it, I go and eat a bag of M&M. You know what I mean? Or like or go have fun or
Right.
do whatever. Like I'm never just like, oh, what are we as people gonna do? I know there's literally nothing I can do about half of the shit
Right.
I'm angry about. Sometimes I just like to say something because I feel like no one is saying what I want said, which I feel like we all kind of get, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I feel like we all like to use social media just to howl at the moon, like just to
Yes.
curse the moon, but at the end of the day, nothing's gonna come of it anyway. I
No.
mean,
But
but
that's also what's so dangerous about social media is like
Mm.
people are hiding behind their screens and saying whatever, and sometimes it's hurtful, especially comments. Have you ever read comments on people's videos, like how
oh
terrible
Yes.
yeah,
people can be? It's
yeah,
like,
no, that
Dude, yeah.
we had the singer songwriter on the other day, Robert Andrew Wagner, not Heart to
Hmm.
Heart Robert Wagner, but
I
first
liked
time
him.
he was on my show, he he generated so much hate comments, hate email, hate comments on all the video,
For
wherever
what?
it was, not because of his music, but because he had a political something to say, an opinion. And it wasn't necessarily, you couldn't really tell if he was left or right, but I got from both lefties and righties what a dick that guy is. And like, oh, I'm
Wow.
sick of fucking musicians and actors and people trying to tell us how to live. And it wasn't really that. It was
Ooh.
really a soft sell. Basically, what you do is pointing out how fucked up things are in a
Yeah.
Right.
kind of humorous way, but they didn't take to it. And
Poor
Yeah.
Robert
It's
Wagner.
poor, and Robert Wagner actually caught most of the heat.
yeah, yeah.
Oddly
Uh,
enough. But yeah, it is kind of messed up. I mean, I don't. The thing that bothers me about online culture more than anything else is how, because our journalists are so fucking lazy these days, like they pick up on it. Like it wouldn't really matter if you think about it. Like if people
Yeah.
said shit online the way they used to, it wouldn't matter if, people weren't trying to use it as clickbait all the time. So
right.
it doesn't take much to make a story out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But considering it doesn't, and they can get paid for doing it, and the more clicks people get for reading bullshit, so you just go, oh my god, what are these 15 people saying? What's the new hashtag? I don't have to research this. I just have to know what the people are feeling, and then
Right.
you word it in a way that makes it look like everybody's fucking losing their minds, and then
Then you get
Hillbilly
Yeah.
paid.
Bob out in the middle of nowhere is like, what? The gays are coming from my guns, and then
Scott Curtis came here to insult you.
Wow.
John looks like
I love
Robert Crumb
Scott.
drawing his.
Oh, Robert Crumb drawing.
Say, I don't hear from Scott forever, and then you come here and he just comes here to insult you and then leave. See, this is what we're talking about, the bad part of social media.
People
Happy
coming out
birthday,
of
by
the
the way,
woodwork.
Scott Curtis.
Oh, hey,
Happy
birthday, Scott. Holy
birthday.
shit.
I think he's like 60 or something now, or close to it, 59, 58, which I want to get to you, John, because lately, I think twice in the last week. First, by the way, I'm in Twitter jail, so I can't respond to any of it.
Oh,
But I heard you say something about older comics. Now, that was one thing that I wanted to ask you about, like what defines an older comic? What point do you get there? But then it's the stuff with Elaine Boozler and talking about her generation. So I want to just first clarify, where is there a line where somebody becomes an older comic? Because I know you're not a kid, you're not an old person yet,
no.
but you're somewhere in the middle. But what will that line be? 45, 50? When do you become an older comic?
I just think of older. I mean, I took a real big swath there. I tend to generalize online to save time, like because I'm like, oh, I only have 160 characters, but I always think of it like comedians from the 80s. When I was thinking of that tweet in general, when I said older comics, I do think of the generations that have passed me by, because they, that's the 80s comics have such a specific kind of look for some reason at the like not all of them, but a lot of them seem to have come out of that Carson era, and they are they're no longer funny anymore, which is a bummer for me because I do but like they didn't keep up with it, and then they have no idea. It's like, what it is, it's like Jackson Brown and not Jackson Brown. It's too early for me. What the fuck is the name? What's who sang Sweet Thing and Van Morrison and Eric Clapton. Nope, not
Oh
Eric
my
Clapton.
God.
Who the is it Eric? Yeah,
Yeah,
during the
Eric Clapton.
pandemic,
Yeah, yeah.
who like thought they were being true to form hippies and were protesting. The only two musicians protesting the vaccine and shit and lockdown. Like, they were like, we're gonna do, we're rebelling. This is what we used to do in the set. And you're like, oh, dude, this is so sad that you think that's the, whatever. But it's like
That's
that kind
not
of shit.
protesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely
because
not protesting.
What were
like
they doing? Singing songs?
no, they were going out doing concerts like during like the height of COVID, and they
Oh,
were
but so
refusing
was
the
every
vaccine.
celebrity, really. They were all
No, this was at the point where there was
Like
no
oh.
no,
shows nowhere, and
yeah,
Oh.
they
yeah.
were like,
Aw.
we gotta, you gotta fight for your right, and you were just like, oh, fuck off, dude. Like they just missed
Oh.
the point. But like, there's a lot of older comics that have that kind of get off my lawn,
They
fucking
still
like,
think they're rebels, but they are
Oh.
really like grandpa at this
yeah,
point, and
and they're part of the fucking machine. You know what I mean? Like it's so because here's the thing, comedians in the 80s, they slept till 1. You know what I mean? Like they hung out late. They which I love. Everything I love about comedians is and shit that I feel like I'm naturally inclined towards anyway is like hanging out late in night at diners. You tell jokes for like an hour a night, actually probably even less then because you didn't really have to have a fucking long act in the 80s. Like if you got 5 minutes, you went on Carson, you became famous, you toured the country, they paid you in cash or cocaine, like whatever it is. Like they had it so much better and easier as far as comedians are concerned, right? They didn't really have to fucking do anything. None of them, they all rebelled against their parents' deli, whatever I don't know why I'm referencing Richard Lewis, but they all, you know what I mean? Like their parents worked in some kind of machine factory and they were like, I'm not going to do that. I have an opinion or whatever. Right. And then, they moved to LA, went to the Comedy Store, Boston, DC or whatever. And then, and now they're like older as fuck. And they're like, these kids today don't know what working is. You know what I mean? I'm like, you fucking used to do cocaine off of Robin Williams' dick in the back of the Comedy Store. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what did you? So I don't know what the disconnect is, but they became part of the machine and they got wealthy. And now they, for some reason, they have an opinion on the youth. And
right.
There's nothing worse than older people having opinions on the youth.
Wait, but older people were younger once.
Yeah, they were.
But when times were different. So you can't really relate to the youth of today if you're an old person today. I get it all the time.
On the youth today, and I'm not young anymore.
All right.
I do too, to a certain extent. But mine is more like, what's weird is like theirs is very like, again, like I just think they're part of the machine. Like they're very capital. Like they're like they need to shut up and they need to work harder, and they're not like, they literally have a problem. I remember watching this thing, Bill Maher doing it, who's like for some reason become the most curmudgeonly piece of shit that's currently on a major network, right? Where he's talking about TikTokers, and it's just he's fixated on these people who were living in the van lifers. And he's like, and now they're monetizing it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, what did you fucking do? Like, you used to, you brag openly about having to sell weed while you were doing stand-up for a little bit. And then, or whatever it is, like, that's how they're making it. Like, they wouldn't have to do that if, like, I don't like the boomer stuff. Like, I hate it. Like, I don't like calling people boomers just because they're older.
Right.
But I do believe it applies when they have that kind of attitude, you know what I mean? When they feel like they're completely disconnected from how people have to make money and the situations that people face today. Like, then I'm like, okay, yeah, now you've gone to that point where you're just a dick.
My only memory of Bill Maher, because I don't watch him a lot, my only memory comes from when he was on Johnny Carson 30 plus years ago, complaining about Danny Thomas being out of touch with young people and all. And so it's funny that he's the guy you're talking about, and I know he has become that old man that he used to complain about. He used to talk about how the old guys, they're out of touch with the youth of today, but they never had any talent to begin with. And I look at Bill Maher and I'm thinking, that's you. That's you.
Exactly. It's so weird that they choose that road.
Yeah. Kiara, what's your opinion of young people today, since you have one?
Oh,
You're allowed to have one.
I thought you were going to ask me who Bill Maher was. Sorry, I have no idea.
No, do you know?
No, let me look. Can I,
Oh, that's
can I-
hilarious.
wait, can I take it? Well, I was actually looking up Robert Crumb, and I thought this was a very funny picture of him on a.
If that guy had long hair, he might be looking like John.
We're about
actually.
the same size, though.
Oh,
Yeah, we want to
okay.
know how tall you are because
Me?
yeah, because every time I see you with pictures, first of all, I know you're not very tall in stature, but every time I see you in pictures, you're standing next to guys who are very tall in stature, and it makes you look even smaller. So you look
Yeah.
like you're probably about
But
4'8".
That's a terrible thing to say.
No, it's fine. You know what's crazy to me? I'm like the last person on earth who would. I don't acknowledge my height. Like I don't ever think about it. I'm 5'4".
That's
Right.
what I said.
Really?
I am so good.
How tall are you? You seem like you're tall.
She's like 7
Me?
foot tall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
like
can
a
tell you're
freak.
tall.
Look at
Yeah.
that neck.
Look at these man hands.
Oh, that's so great.
I just throw you against the wall.
Yeah.
No, I'm.
You know what's
I'm
crazy though?
5'6".
You seem. Oh, you're 5'6". Oh, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
No.
I mean, that's not that much taller than you know. What I mean, like I thought you
No.
were gonna be like you're like 6'1".
What are you wearing? 6-inch heels all the time? Because you're my height when we do gigs.
Yes, I do.
I know.
But let me tell you, the first couple gigs, because they play 4 hours straight and they don't have breaks. My feet were like broken.
Mhm.
I actually like developed like calluses and like extra bone structure in my foot, so I could actually like stay for 4 hours in heels. I actually know
I was
who he
thinking
is.
about Jess this morning.
It's
I was
this
like,
guy. Yeah, I know. who he is.
Yeah, that's him.
Jess Paul's
Oh,
in the chat room now. I was thinking about her. By the way, if you haven't checked out Jess Paul, I think it's .net. I'm not sure. There's JessPaul.com. Wonderful actor that's been on the Mind Dog TV stuff. But I was wondering what happened to her because I haven't heard from her in a while. She says, I stopped watching Bill Maher after the van life segment. Watched him for years, and then, nope, he lost me.
Yeah. Yeah, every now and then he comes out. He's got like it's so weird because he'll do that editorial at the end and he'll hit certain points that I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. Nobody's ever said that, or like whatever it is. And I still think he has some reverence. And then he'll do a whole fucking segment like having the complete wrong fucking take. And I don't know, maybe I mean, you know, he's always been somebody who's gone after whatever audience he thinks he can get. Maybe
Crystal Ball just undressed him last
He
week.
did. She did.
And that was just like it was pathetic to watch. But
it really was. But I fucking loved it because he never has anybody on. That's another thing that bothers me about him. Like, dude, if you're fucking swinging that HBO dick around, have somebody on the show who you can argue with. Like, what are you having these like? Because everybody goes on to, you know what it is? It's everybody. He has people that go on his show to kiss his ass all the time too, and it's always like that conservative thing where like they're happy to be there because they get their message out and he's happy to have them there because he looks like he's diplomat, you know what I mean? Or like he's part of the cool, like reasonable crew. And it's just such soft hand job bullshit. Like, but it you know what it is? It's like that thing where like, again, I like Johnny Carson. I used to watch him when I was younger. I used to watch him in reruns. I appreciate the humor and all the celebrities back then. What I can't stand is the mentality that those guys had, like the reverence for shitty people. I don't have any reverence for anybody whatsoever. If they're like Elaine Boozler, I think she's a great comic. I know what she's done comedically, like for women and for that generation of comedians. And I understand the area she kind of developed in. But then you say something like she said the other day, and I think, what a cunt. And can I say that this early? And am I allowed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I like how I check after the fact. I'm like, by the way,
I think 6:59 a.m. is the cutoff point where you can't say that. But
yeah, but like I don't have any like I know because her husband is her manager, and he was also like he managed the Doors back in the day, which is his claim to fame. So he still thinks he's hot shit. Like I'm here to tell you that you're not. Like I'll do it up to a certain point, but if you're a dick, I'm like, what am I now? Now I'll just tear you apart. I don't care. Like,
do you think age is what does it to these people,
no,
or is it money? Because I'm thinking money. I think with Bill Maher, this is definitely apparent that he's become an elitist without realizing. You know, he's a guy who gave $1 million to Obama's campaign without blinking an eye. So he's definitely wealthy enough that he's got enough money that he's not connected to real people anymore. I think if people become rich, it changes them.
Of course it does. Of
I think it
course.
reveals. I think it kind of reveals who they always were to begin with. Like, I think it allows them to kind of the freedom to really be. If they're an asshole, they're an asshole. If they're not, they're not. Because look at Ray Romano. That guy's fucking loaded, and he's looks in Adam Sandler. That's a guy who's got more money than Christ, and he still stays. He's still. I hear he's a very nice guy, and he still just wears regular. You know what I mean? Like shorts.
Yeah, he's the guy who doesn't. He doesn't have any ego at all. It seems like
Jon Stewart, Louis Black. All those guys. Like they kind of.
Oh, I'm glad you brought up Louis, because that's one of the guys I'm extremely jealous that you've had a chance to interview. But the other one, and I kind of was lurking in the room, and it goes back to what we were talking about with older comics. When you had Robert Klein on. Now, here, Gary, you know who Robert Klein is?
Okay, I gotta Google this stuff, guys.
You don't know? That's my point.
I gotta see
Robert
his face.
Klein,
Hold on.
to me, and John, I think you'll probably agree with this. He's the closest thing to a living George Carlin that we have now. Like he's that guy who he just
sort of know who he is.
You talk about reverence. I have an extreme reverence and just in awe of Robert Klein's talent. He's still with us, but the generation that really is should be watching your show or really should be learning from your show doesn't even know who he is, and I think that's a fucking sin.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know it is a sin because he's such a huge. Well, I saw him. I got to hang out with him, and I got to see
William Conway's a 42-year-old comedian, by the way. Never heard.
Thank you, William.
Never heard of him.
What?
Sorry.
That's wild. Yeah,
Sorry.
It is. The reverence thing is like I do have a lot of. I think he's a guy who deserves it though too. Like he's still sharp as fuck. He's still with it. I mean, I spoke to him he was on the show for like 2 hours, and he was up to date on every aspect of pop culture and like politics and all their stuff. And he's always kind of had the right take. Even I think he might even be even more. Not that he's more left than I am, but he's just very like. He's very with it, and it's crazy to me. Like he's still sharp as fuck. So I mean, I know I say the older comic thing, but it's like when I look at, like even like I had Mike Binder on the show, and I love Mike Binder, but he's got this hard on for guys like Rogan. That's the Carson connection thing, right? So like that generation, I don't think they would give a fuck about Rogan at all if he didn't make that $100 million deal. And if he wasn't super, super fucking popular, right? And that's a shame. Like that's a shame because if you like the guy, you like him, right? And it wouldn't matter because if he was in the clubs and he had that kind of opinion, you'd still have that kind of reverence. I don't know that they would if he wasn't successful. And I think guys like that from back in the day need that. They look for that because, those guys like the approval of Rogan. It's even Maher to some extent because I think anybody that
Maher went on Rogan's podcast and totally kissed his ass for 3 hours.
Yeah, and anybody and Maher used to make fun of Maher had Rogan on Politically Incorrect a couple times, but just as a moron because that's what that like they used to kind of go back and forth, and I don't think Maher gave him the time of day, and now he's like again kissing his ass, and I think that's that Carson thing. I think it's another successful man giving them the okay. Here's another problem with my people.
Scott Curtis says, here's another problem with my people. We think Kiera should know all the old fucks.
Thank you, Scott.
No, I don't think she should know all the old fucks, but she should know Robert Klein. That's like George Washington.
Yeah.
George Washington was, I'm sorry. I can't think of anything right now. I'm tired.
He wasn't a good comedian. I will say that about George.
He wasn't a good comedian.
He sucked. Every time I saw him, he just fucking bombed every time.
You're married and you have kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me for 2 seconds, but I'm just going to say the reason why Kiara doesn't know who Robert Klein is because she's attractive, and I'm assuming she's always been attractive, and you don't need to know. Like, we are losers. So we know... Like that's who we had to cling to. And if I feel
wait a minute. You think that I'm not a loser?
No.
I was
not in the same way.
No, I was. No, I gotta tell you, I was shit on Elementary
Really?
through high school. Oh yeah, I
All right.
had it rough.
Through high
I grew up.
school? Wow.
No, I did. I grew up
I
in
believe
a
you.
small town.
Mhm.
I was. It
Living in a
was.
lonely world?
Yeah, no, no, no.
Abusive
I was the
mother
only
who.
Italian American. Okay, when I moved into that, when I graduated with 90 kids, they asked me if I was
Oh.
from Africa because I had like curl. So yeah, and they used to call me Bird's Nest because my hair was curly, and they said I
Oh.
smelled like moldy cheese, and it
Oh.
was really hard because I
Okay.
didn't grow up in Brooklyn around people like me. So
Yeah. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, and I got moved to AZ and shit like that, and then I came back and then grew up in Jersey, which is kind of Brooklyn point.
right, it's kind of like a little Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, a
So
little bit,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But
I
that's
didn't
like
blend.
I feel like most women who like had like who were I'm sorry again, I'm objectifying, but like the or who are attractive, they don't need to know who comedians are, and they don't need to do anything because they're just they're too busy being pretty.
But pretty goes away. Pretty
But you
goes
know George
away.
Carlin, right? You know George
It
Carlin.
goes away. I know George Carlin, yes.
Well,
Okay.
that's what I mean. Robert Klein is on that level with me. Maybe
Oh.
it's maybe I'm putting Klein too high up, but for me, he
No.
was to me. I liked him when he was doing far more talented than Colin was ever because he's not just a comedian; he's an actor, he's a musician and a songwriter, and just
Mm,
a amazing talent, author,
He
and
really is.
But
mm.
Actually, you probably recognize him if you saw him because he has been in so many
Right.
movies and different
Law
things.
and Order, a lot,
Law and Order.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's so great. But there's a bunch of I mean, my friends don't know a lot of they don't know a lot of bands. Like that's a thing. Like Harry Styles came out with like a new record, right? A record. Look at me, what a fucking piece of shit.
Record.
I'm not even from that generation either, but I'm like a record.
They call it records now.
But
Mm.
that's reverence. But he just came out and like 3 of the songs like are straight off sampling 80s music. Like one
Mm.
of them is completely aha. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the same kind of riff in the beginning. And then my friends will listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, I love this. But in the same breath, will also be like, I hate 80s music. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid? like, do you not hear that synth in the background? You dumb piece. But to them, 80s music is like the one Phil Collins song they heard that sucks,
Right.
which is a lot.
Yeah. I
But
can
like,
relate to that.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is that they just latched onto, so they think they don't like 80s music. And I'm like, well, then you'll hate The Weeknd too, buddy, because it's a lot of his shit sampled off a New Order, and
Yeah,
stuff.
speaking of 80s music, and this not necessarily 80s, but you got a legend on tonight,
Yeah.
Graham Parker.
Graham Parker's gonna be on, and I'm sure they don't know, but that's
Right.
the cool thing too. Do you find that when you have guests on, at least like your friends who do watch, who might be a little younger, or even some who are like the flip side, if I have somebody young on and some of my older friends are watching, they'll be like, oh my God, I had no idea who this person was, but I like their shit now. And you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I've gotten a little bit of that, but not that much. And I don't generally get and I'm gonna because I'm thinking about doing a nighttime show. I'm probably committed to doing a nighttime show, but I'm trying to get some
please, because
money behind it.
I cannot wake up again.
I know. No, I want to do a nighttime show that is completely different. I was inspired by that James Corden guy wanting to saying he was leaving CBS, and I like, you know what CBS is going to do? They're just going to replace it with another Carson wannabe. It's like late night won't get off of being Johnny Carson wannabes. And it's like college kids and young people need something new at that hour that is just totally ready to just say nuclear bomb that fucking guy with the couch and the 8-minute interviews that mean fluff interviews and
Yeah.
so I want to do
I can't stand.
something completely different that
Nice.
late.
The interviews are about like it's so fucking annoying to have like people on who are just there to like, even if you're there to plug something, like plug it, like maybe show a commercial for it or say it once, but at least then have a reason for being there other than just to do your celebrity shit,
Yeah.
because they are interesting. They can be interesting. We've all seen them, do shit like that, but then they come on and they're like, ugh. You know,
No, I've been focusing more on people with like real substance. I've had for my nighttime show rather than having entertainers on. I've been having people who like tomorrow night. I have Lori Garver, who's the former head of NASA, who under Obama
oh, nice.
tried to change NASA completely, and her book is called "Escaping Gravity." So
Wow.
I'm gonna get her to help me bury the flat Earth people once in a while. So it'd be great to kind of just make fun of Kiera and all her beliefs about that. But
Don't bury them too deep, though, because
and
that flat Earth thing.
generals who were attachés to Ukraine and stuff like that,
Ooh.
people who really, have some knowledge that, and I know that's boring to a lot of people, but for me, it's interesting. So I put it out there. That's
You
what the
do
nighttime
what
show is
you
about.
do, Matt. Don't
And
worry about
this is more fluff in the morning, is what I'm saying. So
How do you guys know? That's a huge mug. How do you guys? I'm a little intimidated. Not gonna lie to you.
I have a small head.
How do you guys know each other?
We dated for a while back in the 30s.
I was gonna say that.
In the
say that.
30s?
You
No,
took
yeah.
my line.
No, actually,
Oh.
somebody asked us. We were married the other night on the
Aw.
gig.
Yeah,
I said
it's
yes,
pretty
and she
cute.
said no simultaneously. We were
Nobody
playing
ever asked me if I'm married to anyone. They always ask if I'm like, they're like, do you need help? I see following you. I'm just like, no, why? I couldn't even if I wanted.
We were playing a gig on the beach 4 Memorial Days ago, and we had a guest singer come up, a female singer, and she was singing a four non-blonde song,
Oh.
and the big hit.
Yeah, what's
Right.
going on?
Yeah,
Right.
what's going on? And she had a wireless mic, and we told her to go out and pass her out in the mic to people out in the audience. And she did one after the other, just awful. And then she passed it to Kiera, and she started singing. And Mikey, my partner in the band, looked over at me like, and then he went and gave her a card and said, "Call me."
That's
That's how
great.
we know each other. So
By the way, my point of view was my kids were 2 and 4, so they were just not like able to be independent. So I took a Starbucks venti, reusable cup and put like a whole bottle of wine in there, and pretended it was like juice or like some kind of frappuccino, and then went to the beach. It was like my first night out, and I was really drunk, and I was like, yeah, and I was in like a cardigan. My hair was in a bun, and they were passing the mic around, and I was like, it's me. So that's
great.
how it happened. Yeah.
Nice.
yeah. But,
Yep.
so
And
she's
I
been
think
with the band since about 3 days after that.
Yeah, and my kids were playing like the maracas on stage, and were whacking Matt in the nuts and stuff, and so it was a good time.
I could have used you at the Tears for Fears concert I was at the other night, because during Shout, I don't know what possessed them to do this. Like, they're all, first of all, let me just tell you right now, Tears for Fears, those dudes sound exactly the same, and it's wild to me. Like, because you go see some people like from back in the day, and they're like, ooh, they can't really hit the notes anymore. Crushed it. Fucking just crushed it, right? So they're doing their encore set, and of course it's Shout, Yeah, I'm saying this. Do you know Tears for Fears, or am I just talking on mic here? I know Matt does.
Tears for Fears, right?
Oh,
No?
God, no.
Come on.
Who was that?
Sowing the seeds of love, Shout.
I know Shout. I know Shout.
The world.
I just didn't know that they that's their song.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Shout's one of their songs, and everybody wants to rule the world. So anyway, they're doing the Shout thing, and they get to the part where they're doing Shout, Let It All Out for the first time, and he hands it off to some goober in the front row, and the guy's just like, I mean, I'm not even getting, but he like literally didn't sing at all. He just screamed it at the top of his lungs, which threw all of us, like everybody in the audience, off, because it was just like, yeah, we thought it was him, and we were like, fuck, he's really lost it. And then we looked on the
yeah,
like,
but it's worse when we get a lot of that, because Mikey hands out the mic a lot to people in the audience. We get a lot of people who sing off key, but it's far worse when they sing out of time, and it throws the entire band off. Like the drummer gets lost, and it's like, where are we?
Yeah,
that's the worst.
My mic stand was hijacked by a bunch of frat boys. Remember that?
No.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. For like, I think 6 or 7 songs they had my mic, and Matt was like, get it back. Like, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in. Like, there were 6 of them around the mic, and they were breathing on it and spilling beer on it, and I was so upset.
What's your favorite song to cover?
Oh
gosh,
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, we did that. I was pretty impressed with it. It was pretty fun.
Freebird.
the other the other night somebody requested "Stairway to Heaven."
Acoustically?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and I have never really learned that song correctly ever in my whole life, and so
Wow.
somebody requested, but he was a big tipper. He came over first of all, he before he requested it, he put a nice big tip in the jar. So I'm like, now I feel guilty if I say no to a big tipper. That's like a disgrace.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
got to try it, and I know that I'm gonna hack it,
You did
but
it well. Come on, you did good.
I did I got through it.
Yeah.
But then yesterday I said, you know what? I'm almost 63 years old. It's time I learn a song that every 13-year-old boy can play. And so I learned "Stairway to Heaven" correctly yesterday in case that
Nice.
ever happens again.
Good.
You know, there should be a list of like, because there's the songs that
Songs you
everyone
can never
knows to cut.
request.
Yeah, but there should just be a list of like, I will no longer play these. But
Right.
like you should cover like really obscure shit that no one would ever ask you to.
Thank you. That's
We
pretty
do
much
some
what I
of
want
that.
to do.
I
But
do a
Right?
lot of that. Like
Do
I'll
you?
do
Nice.
John Prine's "Let's Talk Dirty" in Hawaiian. I do "Commander Cody," "Smoke That Cigarette," which is actually
Ooh.
a Merle Travis song. You know, all real 40s songs. Like the other night I did "Swinging on a Star," which is a Bing Crosby song.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that. Yeah, yeah.
That's good. I've never heard anybody cover that. That's pretty great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and old people didn't know who it was. They're like, "What song is that? I think I know that. What is that?" It's like Bing
Wow.
Crosby, man. It was a fucking huge hit when I was a kid.
I
Even
want to cover one Greta Van Fleet song.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, just
So
one.
you want to cover a Led Zeppelin song covered by Greta Van Fleet?
Yes, yes. That's
what
why
did,
I like
did they do
them. I
covers?
know.
Because they sound like
No.
Led Zeppelin, but
They don't
They don't
even
do covers.
They don't
Yeah.
even admit that was one of their influences.
Really.
Yeah.
I talk about
That's
that all the
dishonest.
time.
It's like such a shame, you know. And then they interviewed Robert Plant, and he was like, they don't even
That's
don't even give me any
dishonest.
credit.
Yeah, that's
So
dishonest.
it's almost like hilarious at this point because when they were interviewed about it, they're like, "Who are your influences?" And they're like, "Aerosmith."
Yeah.
You
Yeah, Bon
know.
Scott. They said Bon Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit, but totally Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
Julie Andrews. You know, they'll say everybody but Led Zeppelin.
Julie
Right.
Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the level of absurdity where they're like, you're just sitting there watching them, and you're like, "Say it
Right.
once."
They should.
That-
They should. They
That's
should just
all
give
I
credit.
hear when I listen to them.
And they're
That's-
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. I'm so blown away by his voice
Yeah.
that I just kind of like put that other stuff
But
on. Yeah.
they are lyrically, if you're a lyrics person like me, they're very lyrically weak. I mean, they are like Robert Plant was though too, except for like things like "Stairway," where it would be, or some of the songs that were really deep, like when he's getting into like Tolkien and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's funny that in one of the interviews, Robert Plant was saying he said they are Led Zeppelin 1 because
Right.
I think he was saying lyrically, like when we started, we weren't like he was acknowledging it. He was like, they're at stage 1.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that makes
voice
sense.
and everything else is great.
Yeah. So these days, your taste of music seem to be all over the map. You've had a lot of these kind of storyteller guys that most people would not be necessarily familiar with. They're not like pop stars.
Right.
What is there a bag that you find yourself more comfortable in that musically, like that your taste run in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge 80s guy. I love all that kind of stuff. Like,
No.
yeah. 60, like, so my mom kind of brought me up musically on like 60s, 70s, and 80s music. And then I obviously grew up in the 90s, so I have a lot of nostalgia for like all the 90s bands and stuff like that in early 2000s. And my dad's taste in music was older. Like my mom likes Frank Sinatra and stuff like that too. But my dad loves all the doo-wop shit. So like I have all that in my head. And, you know, for better or worse, you know what I mean? Because a lot of that doo-wop stuff, you know, they loved it because they were watching, you know, gangsters bury people in a, you know what I mean? Or like throwing somebody in a backyard. So,
Right.
or, you know, whatever it is. So like that kind of mixes in my head too. But I like storytellers, man. I like concept albums. And I love singles. So I have all that kind of mixed into my head. And I think the best band in the world right now, without a doubt, or like they're on the precipice of it, is Wolf Alice. Ellie Rousel is like one of the fucking, they're just an amazing band. And
I have to look them up.
Wolf Alice, great. Their latest album, Blue Weekend, is beautiful. the whole thing from
How do
start
you
to
get
fucking finish.
exposed to it? How do you get exposed to new music when you find? Are you go like? This
I
is the
look for it.
question. That's because most people who my age, the boomers and the people who were just like set in their ways. Well, come on, there's no good music today.
Yeah.
I say there's plenty of good music. It's how you find it and how you're exposed to it. In the old days, when you had radio and that's all it was, it came to you. Now
Yeah.
you have to be more proactive and go out and search for it. And getting
Yeah.
exposed to good music has become a lot more difficult, especially with all the cookie cutter bullshit that's out there.
Yeah, it is. It kind of sucks. I mean, like I understand like when old people complain about certain things sometimes because I feel like they're trying to get their music the way they used to, which is like MTV-ish, or even like they'll be like, oh, I tried to watch the Grammys and they all suck and I don't know who's going on and it's all the same shit. And it's like, yeah, no, the Grammys do suck. They're not a good represent. Like Wolf Alice was nominated, but they didn't get to perform, and like, they didn't win, and like, so you know what I mean? It's still always like the Beyoncés and whatever, and people who have like 1,500 writers.
Right.
It's never like Matthew Sweet or anybody. You know what I mean? Like it's always those guys. But yeah, I look for it all the time, man. I like, if I'm out somewhere and I hear something playing and I've never heard it before, I Shazam the shit out of everything. I'm just like, what is this? And what does that sound like? And my friends and I all share music with each other. So if they go to see bands and stuff, and like a Harpoonist and the Axe Murderer I had on, and I found them from being out and listening to bands and shit like that when I was in like California and stuff. And they're just pretty great.
Wow.
We have to say goodbye to Gov's Comedy Club Network
Goodbye,
right now.
goodness.